Jennifer Edwards and Michael Vanderlyn. The two of you have been together for 3 years, married for 10 months, but you're currently separated. Ms. Edwards, you're seeking a significant amount of money for an unpaid personal loan, and you will tell me about that momentarily. But before we get there, I'm going to start with you, Ms. Edwards. Why don't you tell me a little bit about your relationship and why, after only 10 months of marriage, are you here in divorce court?
Well, Your Honor, I believe that this man has taken advantage of me. He swept me off my feet the first time we met. He was passionate, caring, generous, a good dad, and that's exactly what I was looking for, to have a family.
Now, how long did it take for you to see all of these qualities in him?
Oh, it was only the first 3 months we were together.
The first 3 months?
Yes, Your Honor.
You know, anybody can be well behaved for 90 days. You know what I mean? I mean, usually when someone says and does all the right things, that's not magic, that's practice. You know what I mean? They know what they're doing. Just saying, not saying that about you, because I don't know you, but I'm just saying in general, when women get swept, that's usually what they get swept with. Practice.
And I was romantic too, Your Honor.
So, Mr. Vanderlyn, why don't you tell me what happened in the beginning of the relationship, what you saw?
In the beginning of the relationship, everything was great, from getting along, always going on trips. She always was very romantic, which that's what I was looking for in a marriage. Mm-hmm. What I liked is she never knew the word no, which I like that. Because
in what regard? Is she always up for anything?
Always up for anything. Whatever I wanted to do, it was always good. It was always, okay, let's do that, let's do this. Going on the trip without saying anything. She was willing to pay, which that was unusual for me. She
was willing to pay for everything?
Pretty much in the very beginning, yes.
Were you working?
I was working. I was landscaping.
Why were you willing to pay for everything?
I wasn't willing to pay for everything. I had to pay for everything because the money that he got from work, he had to pay his bills with. So I don't know where he's getting traveling.
That wasn't in the beginning, Your Honor. That wasn't in the beginning. In the beginning, she was willing to pay, and I was liking that because I was tired of always having to pay on previous relationships.
I disagree. I don't know how I'm willing to pay when I'm a single mom working 40 hours a week with 2 children at home.
You were willing to pay. It's not like he had a gun to your head.
No.
You made a decision that in order to do what you wanted to do, and you know, it's probably sexist on my part, you know, like doing the sugar mama thing, but you'd have to be willing to pay because he didn't make you pay.
I would say I was willing to go on the vacations. I wanted to go on the vacations. I wanted to get out of town, enjoy ourselves without the kids.
As a single mom, could you really afford that?
No, not at all.
If she couldn't afford it, then why does she continue to do that in the first part of her relationship? Now, later on in the relationship, it's like I made up for her paying the first couple of times because, and later on in the relationship.
What do you mean you made up for it? You started paying for things?
Yeah, I started paying for everything later on because she lost her job and got unemployment. So for like that, at 8-10 months, I was paying for everything.
Mm-hmm. Let me ask you this, Mr. Vanderlyn. How is it you were comfortable allowing a single mother of 2 children who's working as a receptionist? How did you feel comfortable taking her money when you knew she had 2 kids at home she was trying to support?
As long as I felt that she wouldn't spend the money if she didn't have it. Well, obviously she did, and she was able to take care of the kids at that time, so I didn't think it was a big deal.
When did things start to go south, Ms. Edwards?
About 6 months into our relationship.
What happened?
He stopped working just because he got bored at a job.
But, Your Honor, it wasn't
Hang on. I'll get back to you.
He got bored at his job, a good job that he was able to make a 401k, a steady 40 hours a week, but he was tired of the repetition.
Now, was that 6 months into the marriage, or was that 6 months into the relationship?
6 months into the relationship.
So you were still unmarried, you weren't married at the time?
We were not married at that time.
Were you living together at the time?
We had been living together. We moved in together about 3 months after we had gotten together. And he moved in with me because I had the 2 kids, and he was living with somebody, and it wasn't possible for me and the kids to move in there. So he moved into a townhouse that I had already been renting with my kids.
Mr. Vanderlyn, what do you have to say about your employment status? Is that what occurred?
No, that's not what occurred. The deal is, I enjoyed working where I was working. I was configuring computers.
Right.
But the situation was I got tired of it, and I was making the same amount of money, doing the same thing over and over and over again. So it wasn't.
How long had you had the job?
I had that job for probably 3 months. But I got tired of it, though, and I wasn't learning anything. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to find something better. I'm going to find something that pays me more money, and which I did.
But he quit before he found something. He didn't have a plan.
But I had another job in the first week.
Within a week you had a job.
Yes, I did. So it wasn't like her in her situation where she'd be unemployed and collect unemployment for 8 months. And I kept telling her all through that, I said, you better look for a job now. And no, she didn't want to do that. She just, I'm just going to collect my money, and then we're just going to go on. We'll be all right.
But in
the meantime, I've already had another job, and I was already working, and I was still helping pay the majority of the bills.
That is incorrect.
What happened?
I was receiving unemployment. I was also receiving child support and alimony. I was still paying all the bills.
No, she wasn't paying all the bills. She was paying some of the bills.
You mean you were getting child support, unemployment, and alimony, and you got some other dude in the house and you traveling him around? Wow. Neither one of you has a moral compass. No wonder you couldn't get anywhere.
He goes out and buys $100 pair of tennis shoes, $100 pair of shoes, but yet he won't pay the electric bill or the cable bill because that's something that we don't need.
No, Your Honor, that's incorrect. Let me correct that.
Okay.
Situation was, she came one time when we were sitting in the kitchen, and she said, hey, we have a shutoff notice and electric bill.
Right.
This needs to be paid. The problem is, she has a problem with keeping the checkbook up all the time. So for a while, I had to take her checkbook, and I had to keep it. But she got mad because then at that point I was controlling the money situation and all that, and she didn't like that. So what was going on, she was constantly going out to eat all the time, taking the kids out to eat every day instead of wanting to cook a meal at home. She was always wanting to cook, or take the kids out to eat and whatnot.
Let me ask you this, though. How did you get so far behind that you had a shutoff notice when you have so many sources of income, unemployment, alimony, child support? That's to keep the lights on for your kids. Where was your money going?
It was going to pay the bills. There was more, the rent. I paid all the rent. I was paying my car payment. I was paying utilities.
Was she paying all that and you weren't contributing? I
was contributing to it. And I also was taking that money for our trips.
He was not contributing to that.
Yeah.
You can't, if you're getting shut-off notices on your lights, you can't afford trips.
She was in charge of the electric, so I thought it was being paid. She comes to me and says, hey, we need to pay this. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. Why isn't this being paid? She's like, well, I haven't been keeping up on a checkbook. So we had to go to a church.
That's not true.
Yeah, it is.
You had to go to a church for what?
We had to go to some church, and we had to get help with paying a bill, paying the electric bill.
That's not true. He went to the church to help pay for his car repairs. That's why he went to the church. Never went to church to pay for electricity or to buy food or anything like that.
She's lying about that.
I mean, neither one of you looking good at this juncture. I must say, neither one of you looking good at this juncture. Let me move on to something else, because we could be talking about this money all day long. Mr. Vanderlyn and Ms. Edwards, you say that there is some dissension between the two of you with respect to the manner in which you raise your children. Why don't you tell me about that?
He doesn't like how I discipline my kids. I would admit I'm a little easy on them.
You're a little lenient?
I'm a little lenient on them, yes. And for reasons that I am like that is because of the divorce that I had with my first marriage. And I kind of felt like I kind of maybe took too much away from them. So I was a little lenient, and it had gotten a little bit out of hand because I didn't take control when I needed to take control. But him parenting when his kids aren't even with him and telling me how to parent, I can't do that.
You're not comfortable with it.
No.
I'm going to say something to both of you. Number one, Ms. Edwards, I can understand, and a lot of people feel this way. When they get divorced, it's a very difficult time for the children,
Yes.
and they respond by becoming lenient because you think they've suffered enough.
Yes.
But what you're doing is, kids want limits. Kids do better when there is structure, and even if there has been a change in circumstance, leniency does not make them happier. It makes them louder, and it makes them out of control, but it doesn't make them happier. Mr. Vanderlyn, you got to back up when they're not your children. Do you see what I'm saying? She has to take the lead on the discipline because they're not your kids.
Just from going from job to job when he gets bored. He's been in 3 different states since we've been together.
Does he move everybody with him?
Oh no, he just moves by himself. He goes. He has asked me to go. He has asked me to go down to Tennessee with him. And at first I had thought about moving down there and being a family, being with all the kids. But then I thought about my kids and their father, and would I want to take my kids away from their father? And at the time, I just didn't think it was right for me to do that to them.
Mr. Vanderlyn, are you a bit of a wanderer, or do you get bored easily and need to change jobs and states?
Well, the deal is I do get a little bit bored, but that's not the reason why I changed jobs. The reason why I changed jobs is because I want to better myself. I want to go somewhere. I'm a very motivated person. I move just because if I find something better and it's going to better my life, then I'm willing to take a chance, and I'm willing to move somewhere to get a better opportunity.
Do you discuss it? Now, once you're married, now when you're single, that's cool. But once you're married, don't you think you have to sit down, have a conversation, and make a decision jointly as to where you're going to live and what's the best thing, not just for you and your advancement, but for the entire family?
But we wasn't married at the time that I'm moving
Gotcha.
around up until just recently after we had got married.
Got you. Seeing all that about him during the 3 years that you were dating, why marry him?
I thought this last time was going to be different. I thought that after everything that we have discussed and everything that we had been through, we were still together, and that this was going to make a difference if we were actually a real family, that he would want to change and he would want to stay with us and just have a regular paying job, not have to always better himself or try to get.
Did he say that to you? Did he say, let's get married, I will be this, and this? Or did you just assume that the state of marriage would change the person you knew him to be?
I thought the state of marriage would change him to be the person that I wanted him to be.
We women are crazy with that nonsense. We need to stop it. Marriage doesn't change people. It just doesn't. It changes the rules of conduct and what is appropriate and not appropriate. But when you're married, you all of a sudden you get the guy that you pick, not the one you hope he'll become. And all of this imaginary stuff that we got going on, I'm gonna get that ring, it's gonna be a fairy tale, it's gonna work out. He's gonna want to be Mr. Perfect, Ward Cleaver is crazy, and we need to get over it. Please.
Your Honor, the deal was when we got married, I had explained to her that the only reason why I'm going to come back after I moved to California is if you move out here with me, because there's more opportunities out in California, and that's just what I want to do. I had a lot more.
I get it. Okay. So, Ms. Edwards, you are seeking $9,137.36, $500 in an unpaid personal loan, and $8,637.36 balance due on an unpaid car loan. Please explain that to me.
About 3 months into our relationship, he asked me to get a car loan for him because he couldn't get it on his own. And so I decided, well, he's going to need a car to get back and forth to work to have money to pay the bills. So I decided to get it for him. But he was going to be responsible for making the payments on the car and the insurance on the car. That was going to be his car. I was just getting it in my name.
Right.
For about a year, he paid the loan and he paid the insurance. Then again, he went from job to job and couldn't make the payments on the car anymore. The car got repossessed. They took me to court because, again, it's in my name, it's against me.
Sure. Do you have any paperwork demonstrating how much you owed and if you have a judgment against you?
I have a promissory note from Mike that he signed to make the payments on the car.
I'm going to show you all of this in a moment just to make sure you know what we're talking about, but I have to take a look at it quick. We've got a motion for summary disposition signed by the judge. You do have a judgment against you in the amount of $8,837.36. Mr. Vanderlyn, I'm going to give you an opportunity to review this, and as you are reviewing it, would you like to tell me your side of that story?
Yes, I would. She is correct as far as getting me the car and whatnot. And I do agree that I do owe for the vehicle, but it should have never been repossessed. If thinking that I was only a few days late on the payment and she knew that it was in her name, then she should have at least said, hey, look, I'm going to cover it. I know that you're going to have it because you have a job. But she didn't want to do that. So she automatically just let it go. I believe that it never would have been repossessed. Like I said, if she just would have just paid it, I would have paid her back.
I didn't have money.
But now it come to this where it got repossessed, and now I don't have a car.
Right.
And now I've got to still pay for it. So I am a little irritated about that.
Yeah, wait. You can be irritated all you want to, but if you sign a promissory note saying you owe money for a car, the fact that you didn't have enough money to pay on the car note and got repossessed is on you. It doesn't obligate her to cover you, so you won't have a problem. That's a problem that you created for her. I didn't hear anything about the $500 unpaid personal loan, so I don't know anything about that, but I will award her $8,637.36. And let me say this before I leave. You're a woman with children. You can't run around chasing romance with whomever and spending money like that, like, you found the love in your life and all that kind of stuff. You need to grow up and be grown, do motherly things. All that kind of stuff is over with. You can find somebody and do some things, but don't ever put that before your children. And when your lights are going off because you guys are going on trips, that's a bad thing. And you took advantage of a woman who was raising kids and you took her money from her so she couldn't put her money where you should. Shame on you as well. Judgment in favor of Ms. Edwards. It is so ordered.
बज़ाहिर ये सादा सा रिश्ता महीनों में कानूनी तनाज़ा में बदल गया, जिससे कमरा अदालत में मौजूद हर शख्स तंग रह गया। जेनिफर और मिशेल की ये कहानी सिर्फ 3 साल के रिश्ते और 10 माह की शादी के बाद तलाक की अदालत तक पहुंच गई, जहां मोहब्बत करने वाले होने का दावा करने वाले एक दूसरे पर संगीन इल्जाम लगा रहे हैं। जेनिफर का कहना है कि मिशेल ने उनका फायदा उठाया है। पहले 3 माह में खुद को एक परफेक्ट इंसान के तौर पर जाहिर किया, लेकिन उसके साथ वक्त के साथ साथ उसकी असलियत सामने आ गई। बात सिर्फ बामी नातफाकी तक महदूद नहीं, बल्कि माली बाद इंतजामी और गैर मुस्तहकम तर्ज जिंदगी ने घर का सुकून तबाह कर दिया है। अकेली माँ होने के बावजूद जेनिफर को सफर और छुट्टियों के अखराजात खुद बर्दाश्त करने पड़ते हैं, जबकि घर में बिजली का बिल भी अदा करने के लिए पैसे नहीं थे। उन्हें मदद के लिए चर्च जाना पड़ा। कमरे अदालत में समाअत के दौरान बच्चों के दलाल और आमदन सामने आने पर जज्बाती तनाव मजीद बढ़ गया। जब जज लियन टेलर केस का तफसीली जायजा लिया तो उसने देखा कि किस तरह एक कार लोन और गैर जिम्मेदाराना फैसलों ने उस रिश्ते के हमेशा के लिए तबाह कर दिया। हतमी फैसले में जज ने जेनिफर के हक में बड़ा फैसला सुनाया और दोनों को उनकी गलतियों पर सख्त सरजनश की, जिसे देखकर हर कोई सोचने पर मजबूर हो गया। जिसने जब पहला सवाल किया तो कोई सोच भी नहीं सकता था कि उस केस के पीछे एक ऐसा चौंका देने वाला इंकशाफ सामने आएगा जिससे पूरे कमरे अदालत का माहौल बदल जाएगा। तलाक की अदालत तक पहुंचने जेनिफर और माइकल का केस शुरू हुआ। सबकी तवज्जो अपनी जानिब मबजूल करवाया, क्योंकि ये केस सिर्फ शादी टूटने का नहीं था, बल्कि एक गैर जिम्मेदाराना फैसलों और मालियाती तबाही की मिसाल बन चुका था। जेनिफर ने अदालत को बताया कि किस तरह उसने मिशेल पर भरोसा किया, उसके लिए कार लोन किया, लेकिन मिशेल की मुलाजमत पर अदम इस्तेकाम और बार बार काम छोड़ने की आदत ने उन्हें हजारों डॉलर का मकरूज कर दिया। दूसरी तरफ माइकल की शोहरत ये थी कि वह हमेशा बेहतरी के नए मौके तलाश करता है, और यह सिर्फ कसूर नहीं था। कमरा अदालत में गवाही और शवाहिद के दौरान ये बात भी सामने आई कि बिजली की बंदिश नोटिस मिलने के बावजूद जोड़ा सफरी फर्नीचर पर पैसे खर्च करता रहा, और जिस पर जज को गुस्सा आ गया। जज्बाती समाअत के आखिरी लम्हात में जज टोलर ने वजाहत की कि शादी किसी शख्सियत की शख्सियत को अटल नहीं बदलती। अदालत ने जेनिफर के हक में $8,637 का फैसला सुनाते हुए दोनों को उनकी जिम्मेदारी याद दिलाते हुए ان کے سماعت کو کلوز کر دیا۔ ناظرین، آپ کو کیسا لگا کیس؟ آپ کی قیمتی رائے کمنٹس میں ضرور دیجیے گا۔ کیا جج لین ٹیلر نے صحیح فیصلہ کیا؟